Now, there's a couple of other procedural maps that you can use for bump mapping. We just did noise, but there's also this one called cellular, which we investigated earlier. I'm going to discard the old map and just keep it, and just keep cellular. So cellular, if you remember, it's kind of that gloopy kind of, spheres look to it, and that gives it a really nice kind of texture, almost like lizard skin or a reptile skin, which is kind of nice. Cellular can also do chips, which give you a much different look. If you put fractal on, it's going to kind of granularize that. So that's one that you can use. Another one, which I think we used before, was called Dent. I'm going to discard the old map. And again, that's for kind of corroded surfaces, that sort of thing. This is a good one where you might be able to do a negative bump mapping. So if it did negative, instead of dents, you got bumps. So that's another way of making that work a little bit differently. Now, the type of maps that you want to use for bump map, just really do want to use a black and white map. You don't need to use color in any of these maps because bump mapping really is just determined upon the grayscale of the image. So even if you used a color image, it would just extract grayscale information. So you're not going to get anything. And it's best, just even if you're working with bitmaps in Photoshop, to do grayscale because that's going to give you the best results. We'll get to how to do bitmaps in just a bit. Some other ones you could use, Stucco. Stucco is kind of made as a bump map. And what that does is it kind of gives you a little bit of dents and variations that you would normally get when doing Stucco. Speckle kind of works good as a bump map as well, but it's a very kind of grainy sort of bump map. So you really have to kind of dial it down. But again, you can see that type of surface. It's almost like a styrofoam Christmas ball or something like that. And you can see, look at how those specular highlights are really granularized. And you can tell that the surface is very rough, almost as if it has glitter on it. So speckle is a really good one for that sort of thing. So again, you can see how bump mapping can, just by changing the bump map a little bit, you can completely change the character of the surface. Now let's go ahead and create a scene. We're going to create a bump map out of a bitmap. So I'm going to create a simple plan.